YouTube.
Oh, we're going on live on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. And Facebook. And Instagram.
It's live. People
and Facebook
may or may not be there. So.
I didn't know it was live.
So I guess
yes. Oh, yes.
So it doesn't matter what I say then.
I mean, you can say whatever the hell you want.
Say whatever you want.
All right, let me get this.
I'll try not to be, too bad.
No, you're good, bro. All right, we're live. We're good. All right, we're going to start recording on the mixer in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome to the Misguidance Podcast, where your hosts Daniel, Lana,
and on occasion Morgan
serve up a weekly slice of life's chaos casserole. We're like that GPS that confidently yells, recalculating, just as you pass the last exit before the toll.
Join us and our guests as we navigate the potholes of personal predicaments and maybe, just maybe, find the right exit together.
Stay tuned and remember, every misstep is just a detour on the road to wisdom. Or at least that's what we tell ourselves.
All right. Welcome to the Misguidance Podcast. We have with us today Landon, or also known as Big L.
Big L.
So glad to have you here today.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I grew up in Raymond, and I grew up Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
Right on. Right on.
And my dad was a pool man, and so I'm a pool man. That's kind of how that went. I'm real tired of that, so I was wanting to get into stand-up comedy and podcasting and stuff, and get out of the sun.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So we do stand-up comedy together, and have been since May, June?
Something like that. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe a little later than that.
It might have been a little later. I started the open mic in May, so it might have been a little bit.
I started my therapy in May.
Okay.
And so it was after that, for sure. It was a couple months after that.
So tell me about that. You're a grown man in therapy. How is that?
It's rough to go. It's rough to go through, like to remember a bunch of trauma that you had forgotten.
Yeah.
But I think I'm better for it. I definitely think that I'm moving in the right direction.
Sure. I think a lot of men are hesitant to go to therapy.
Yeah.
I'm women too,
was.
but I think it's more prevalent, especially with the people that I know, that men seem to be, especially with that masculine thought of I can handle this, I can do this on my own, and that is such a prevalent thing. So I think it's really great that you're doing that.
You can white knuckle it for only so long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
I love it. I've been going to therapy since I was 8 years old, 9 years old. Yeah. Because I was adopted and I had all sorts of issues and stuff. So, and the drug addiction and that was
a big one.
There were some things that I had to iron out, to say the least. But no, all joking aside, in my, I gotta stop saying in my opinion, any man that is willing to do the work and take a good, honest look at himself, that's man shit right there. That's not weakness. That's not, oh, you're going to therapy. No, that's man shit. And you want to do better for yourself, so you're willing to do the work and put the work in order to be better. So don't let anybody ever tell you that you're weak for going to therapy. Quite the contrary.
No, if I ever hear that from anybody, I
bash their face in.
No. Believe it or not, I'm not violent. I know I look
a sweetheart.
I look violent. Right. I look like I could be violent, but no. No. But anyway, if I ever hear that from somebody, I know it's coming from a place of them not knowing,
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, if they'd ever try it, they would know that it's
good. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Go ahead.
I was on a big thing about telling everybody about therapy. And by the way, if you want to keep your friends, don't do that. Don't do that. I was on a big kick of hey, y'all got to go. You might have something fucked up. of course you're gonna have something. Everybody knows they have something fucked up.
Yeah,
Right,
we
yeah.
all do.
And you might not want to pick that scab, but if you do, it will be better when you get out from under it.
Well, it's natural. You want to, like, you experience something that's helpful for you, and you want, like, it's just natural to want other people to experience that freedom that you're getting.
Yeah.
So
I
did the same.
I felt so much better about it. I wanted to tell everybody. And
Right.
And they were like, "That's enough."
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think it's great. I have 2 therapists. I will tell anybody who'll listen that they need to go, and I think that's almost a requirement for people to be friends with me, because that they need to go, because if you're not working on yourself at all, then I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because living with your own demons, fighting through, like you said, white knuckling it, that it just doesn't work.
It's almost impossible to do it alone.
It
you
is.
just can't.
Yeah, and it's a lot of pressure to put on your friends, family, partner, if you're not out there trying to work on yourself.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm curious about the Jehovah's Witness. All I know about
It's
it
a
is
curious thing.
is
That's for sure.
is the memes of like a door store and them saying like this is where Jehovah's Witness train and stuff like stupid stuff like that. But I really I want to approach things with curiosity and not judgment. Like, so again with the I got to cut that out.
Being no Jehovah's Witness, I'm very used to judgment. That's
you
the big thing.
what exactly can you give us and I guess you're not in it anymore, is that right?
No.
Okay.
I stopped.
What are they all about?
Okay. They're Christian, but they believe that Jesus is not God. God is Jehovah, which is Jesus' father.
Okay.
And they don't believe in the Trinity. They don't believe it's the same, same thing, they're separate. And so that's the main difference, I guess. But they don't believe in hell. That's another good thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But they believe in a paradise instead of going to heaven. Most people, if you live right and do the right things and are Jehovah's Witness, you have to be a Jehovah's Witness.
Right.
You can be resurrected into paradise. That's what they believe. Yeah.
And how long, when did you get out of that?
I stopped when I was 16, 17, somewhere around there. And I was out, but I still thought that they were right about a lot of things until last year.
What happened last year?
Wow.
I started therapy and started really analyzing things. Because, by the way, Jehovah's Witnesses do not suggest therapy ever.
Really?
And now I see why.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's if you have to really examine things, there's a lot of holes in that story, and I'm talking about the Bible.
Yeah.
But there's so many holes, and and then Jehovah's Witnesses make it worse by altering the Bible and whatever.
Right.
It's creating more holes. It's just insane. And if you were wondering if the Jehovah's Witnesses are crazy, look no further than the JW website.
Oh, really?
JW.org is filled with the craziest shit you will ever see. It is crazy.
Well, are you happier now getting out of it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I feel, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
I've heard you describe it as a
huge
cult.
relief. Yeah.
So
it's
how?
definitely a cult.
What was it like growing
before you
up?
think you're so different than me,
Yeah.
that cult shit.
Yeah.
If you believe in Armageddon and the end times and all that, which most religions do, then your cult just had a better PR, than mine did.
Right.
Yeah.
Is what happened. They're basically all cults. So, it's all culty.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of organized religion, personally.
Yeah.
I think it has its place. It's great if that's your thing.
Yeah, man.
Totally get it. But
if it keeps you straight and you grew up well
Sure.
and you see no downside, then great. It keeps you in line. I think the power of prayer or whatever can be accomplished with meditation and
absolutely.
Yeah.
it's like
And just have a personal relationship. Like,
yeah. I mean, if you believe in God, I believe in God. Like, I don't know. It's kind of it's weird. It's kind of like the Joe Rogan stance on it. He believes like the universe is God, you know?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's basically it.
ain't nothing wrong with that.
You know?
Yeah, I think there's a world where you can be.
Yeah.
It's a balance. Everything is a balance.
Yeah, spiritual. You believe that there's something greater out there, but it's not this. You do this, and this, and you get into heaven, or you do X, Y, Z, and you are, going to have eternal life. I think that. I think we all have it in us to do right by people and to do right by the universe of our higher power, whatever that is. And I think ultimately people are trying to be good and trying to do right to make our lives and other people's lives better. But I don't think that it's tied to a one entity, a one being, a one thing.
The way the Jehovah's Witnesses do it, with all the isolation and the outcasting of your family and all that, like it's just the opposite of what Jesus taught.
Yeah.
Absolutely the opposite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
So, I don't know. I don't see how they can think that it's right, but whatever. I've got my whole family's in it, and they're gonna see this.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure that they already know how I feel about it.
How do you, as a 16-year-old, leave something like that, especially when it's so tied to family and a community? How is it?
It was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Very tough. I moved out when I was 15, and I was still going to the meetings and everything, and but I couldn't keep going because even though I wasn't doing anything wrong, they thought I was,
Right.
you know, and it's because I moved out, and like that is a sign. That's a bad sign, but it's not my bad sign. It's my parents, you know.
Right.
Anybody that feels like they need to move out at 15, and you are allowed to move out at 15, yeah. That is a bad childhood.
Where could you go as a 15-year-old?
I went and I stayed with my sister until I was 16. It was only like a month or two until I was 16.
Okay.
And so I did that, and I stayed with my sister. And then
Was she out?
Huh?
Was she
No,
out?
No. She was very in. No. And then I got a little cabin out in Robin Hood in Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's like the meth capital of Brandon. So,
Yeah.
I did well for the first year or so, you know.
Yeah.
But when I was 17, about to turn 18, I tried weed for the first time, and off to the races. It was a lot of days of drugs in a room.
Mm-hmm.
I had a bunch of friends because I supplied the room and the drugs.
Yeah.
It'd be like that sometimes.
So how do you, I'm still fascinated by this. How do you at 16 get a place to live?
Yeah.
Like irresponsible landlords? Like what's going on?
I've been working since I was, 14.
Right.
Like full time, but for some reason, I've got tax papers from when I was like 7. I don't know what my dad was trying to pull there.
Scandal.
But I do remember getting pulled out of school to go do liners and stuff for pools. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, because I was big. I've always been big. I got big real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Between 10 and 12, I was like 280 and 6 foot tall. And so I could be some help,
Yeah, absolutely.
I was bigger than my dad. I outgrew my dad between 10 and 12.
Wow.
Yeah. Like by a good bit.
So he would pull you out of school and y'all would go install pools and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you had like a big job,
Right.
Did you like that, or was that weird working for? Was this this was after you moved out, or this was before you moved out?
I worked for my dad before I moved out.
Okay.
But after I moved out, like, no, I didn't work for him, no.
Okay. You started your own thing?
Yeah.
Right on. How long have you had that?
97.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you said that your
Is there any way I could get some water?
Yeah, of course. Y'all go ahead.
I'm sorry.
yeah.
No, you good, bro.
My lips are sticking to my teeth. I'll be like Jim Carrey in that movie.
We love Jim Carrey.
I do too, yeah.
When
Talk about working on yourself. That is the guy that's like,
yeah, he's been through a lot.
yeah,
He really
tries
has.
to tell everybody.
Yeah, if you see interviews with him, he'll
He
say
goes deep, yeah.
Yeah, about how he went
Thank
through
you, sir.
some hard times and made it out. So that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So what your business that you started, and you do that now, and you said you want to do some more stand up and podcasting. What does that look like for you?
I bought the cameras and stuff, and I was planning on doing it myself, but I just, I can't. I don't know. Doing it at the house doesn't work very well, I don't think.
Yeah.
You got to really be motivated to do it.
Well, you have a wife and kid, right?
Yeah.
Do you have pets?
Some cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot going on.
It is a lot going on.
In
How old
one
is your kid?
space.
5.
5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a
lot.
Yeah.
That's an age.
Yeah.
He's awesome though, man. He's great.
It's a good age. Well, if you ever want to come kick it up here and do a little podcasting, man, I got you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I saw myself kind of being like my dad was, like short temper, alcoholic, and all that shit. And so that's when I decided to go to therapy, and it's all for Kane for sure, like my little boy. And man, and my therapist said some great shit one time, and it's gonna stick with me forever. He's like, when you're talking to him, talk to him like it's little you, like it's like.
Yeah.
Make sure, I know that sounds simple, and that probably everybody does it automatic, but for me, it was just like, that's, a lot.
No, it's
it
good.
helps a lot.
It's good.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
I work with kids a lot. I mean, I'm an educator, so I'm around kids on most days, and I don't think I've ever heard it said exactly that way. I think a lot of times they tell you to talk like you're talking to someone in your family, or talk like you're talking to
he looks just like me when
kid.
I was 5, so it's
Yeah.
kind of easy. It's real easy, and he acts just like me when I was 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And it's good that you're doing what you're doing for him, because
And me. I was very depressed and super depressed, and I couldn't figure out why. And it was definitely the Jehovah's Witness thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had forgotten all about most of that stuff, but
sure.
I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot of just growing up different and isolated.
Yeah.
That is just not
You got a lot
easy.
to unpack in therapy, man.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot to unpack.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
sure once you were on your own, you had a community per se of people around you, and maybe not making the best choices in that time, it still felt like something, belonging. I mean, we're all looking for belonging, I think, ultimately.
Connection, yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. Yeah, I lost a lot of friends being an asshole when I was doing drugs, because I was doing hard drugs
Yeah.
up until last year. Yeah.
Up until last year.
Yeah.
Wow. So therapy really turned things around for you.
Yeah, it did. It did. And it sucked so bad because I ended up getting in trouble like 2 days before my first therapy session ever. And like since that therapy session, I haven't done any drugs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You've got an outlet now. You can talk to somebody.
Besides weed and mushrooms.
Yeah. Those are
Those
from
natural.
the earth.
Yeah, they're natural,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
From a warehouse grown indoors.
Right. But you got a medical marijuana card,
Yeah,
correct? Yeah. Because I remember
Yeah,
you telling
fix
me
the
when that happened.
potholes with that money.
Right.
Right. The
We know that won't
Good
happen.
Lord.
potholes.
But
The potholes, man.
Yeah. I think that's huge though for someone to take it takes a lot of self-awareness to see that how you're acting is affecting the people around you, particularly your kids. I'm sure your wife was one of those people too.
Wow, I can't believe she stuck with me.
Yeah.
I really could. Like, looking back on it, man, it really bums me out to think about how I treated her. It's wild.
Yeah, but you're doing better now. That shit's in the past.
That's
You know what I mean?
she keeps telling me.
Yeah. And
She's like the best lady in the world. Like, I swear, I love that lady.
That's such an important reminder, though, that she tells you
Yeah.
that, it's in the past. We're moving forward.
Yeah.
Like, that's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to look at someone that you care about that's hurt you and say, it's in the past. Like, we're moving forward. That is.
It's because the night and day difference that the transformation is crazy since last year, since I started therapy. It's crazy.
Yeah, because I've only known you in this capacity where you've been working on yourself.
Last week, I went over to my buddy's house and I drank a few beers, and they were like 8% seltzers. And with those it doesn't taste like any. It's.
I know, it's like drinking water.
No way, this is 8%.
Yeah.
But sure enough, it will get on you.
Yeah.
But he gave me some shots, like some 99 proof shots or whatever. And man, I didn't feel it coming on or nothing, but I got blackout drunk, and I turned an asshole real quick.
Yeah.
So I don't think drinking is my thing. Like, I really don't. When both your parents are alcoholics, it's probably a good sign for you to stay the fuck away from it.
Yeah, you probably got it in your genes.
Yeah, when I was growing up, my parents didn't drink because my mom was one that had both of her parents were alcoholics, and one died of liver disease and the other of heart disease. So there's no real denying what the cause was there, and that's
I don't think my parents I wouldn't say that did them in, but it damn sure didn't help the family life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it was terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah, I was married to an alcoholic.
Between
drug
them,
addict,
it was great, but between my dad and the kids, not so good.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, they had something to hold them together, and that would have been drinking.
Right.
But it's tough. I was married to an alcoholic drug addict, and I didn't know he hid it really well. I had no idea for.
I hid it from my wife
years.
for a long time.
Yeah, and I finally came to a head when there was no money left. Like, you turn around and, like, it's in the middle of the pandemic. We're getting, unemployment money. I'm getting a regular paycheck because I'm a teacher, and we didn't stop getting paid money, even when we weren't working, full time per se, but we were, doing online classes, posting things online for kids to do, and grading on our own time. But the money just went missing, and then found out that there was a lot more money that had gone missing. And so you can be perfect at hiding it, but it's still going to come out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I've owned my business for so long, and I sold drugs back in the day, but I did that just to use for free. Like, it's the same old story with a lot of small time dealers. That's all you want to do, really.
Yeah.
And but it did. It helped me pay for rent a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but no, I never had I never let it drag me down like that. Like, 'cause I did deal for long enough to see people like just go down the drain. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and I've actually I had cut people off before because it was just like, what are you doing? I'm like, no, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
but
got to be hard
go
to
get it somewhere else. So, I mean, it's
got to be hard to watch that, though.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's part of it that has to feel like, well, I'm not as bad as they are, so I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
and it keeps
you
keeps you doing it. Yeah.
You can justify it
we can
in all
justify
kinds of
anything,
ways.
can't we?
All kinds of ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I was going to say something else, but of course I forgot. Maybe we'll do it next time, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if you, how long do you go on these?
Like an hour or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea how long.
We're going. Let's see here. We're about halfway.
Maybe I'll think of what I was going to say.
Yeah.
We've got
minutes.
time.
Yeah. So what brings you happiness today?
Mainly my wife and my kid, and man, all this bad weather. Sunny days help a lot.
Yeah.
They really
Yeah.
like getting out in the actual sunshine, man. God, there's nothing better.
Do you stay booked up with work? Is it enjoyable? I know you mentioned that you want to do more.
I just don't want to clean pools in it. That's all.
Yeah.
I still like to get in the sun, though.
Yeah, of course. Right on.
Yeah, pools it's just boring, man. I've been doing it for 27, 28 years, whatever it is. Like, good Lord.
Since you were 7 getting tax returns.
Oh, that's way older than, way more.
No, I get it. When I was growing up, my dad and mom, part of their childcare was Lana Price construction. And so I learned a lot of things starting when I was 8 years old, because that's when it's the summertime and your parents are working and one of them owns their own business. That's childcare, taking them with you. So I started learning a lot. First, it was a screwdriver and a paintbrush, and now it's whatever we're possibly doing, tearing things out and putting it back together. But it builds a different type of work ethic. Granted, my parents were very focused on my grades, so I never ever would have been able to leave school. But it does change how you think about work.
Being Jehovah's Witness, the last time they predicted the end of the world was 1975, and I was born in 82. So my parents were like, "It's any day now." Like it's like,
Oh.
And so every day was like that. Like, well, next week it's probably the end of the world. So I mean,
that has to mess with your psyche a lot.
Literally.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, even as a little child, like no need to advance in any way.
Man.
Because the world's about to end. Like, no need to go to college. The world's about to end. Why would you do that? You're going to waste a bunch of money and time, and what you could be learning how to plumb or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's all they push is just like stuff like that. But which I don't think is bad. Like, you need people to plumb. But
I love trades.
If you want to do something else, they don't suggest it. They try to steer you away from it,
Wow. Yeah.
If you want any kind of anything like this, anything like what I'm doing right now,
right.
I shouldn't be wanting to do this.
No.
I shouldn't be wanting to do comedy. Anything that will shine a light on me, like I should be part of the crowd or like one of the sheep. One of the, that's how they put it.
Yeah. I think that's wild. My parents always encouraged me to be an individual.
Stand out,
Yeah, and I was always really shy as a kid, but
that's all good advice.
Yeah, they encouraged me to do things that I enjoyed. I played soccer when I was growing up. They encouraged that. Yeah. And then when I wanted to do musical theater instead, they're like, "That's fine." And I'm sure my parents were glad to not have to drive all the way around Mississippi going to soccer games and things like that. But it is a completely different experience, I'm sure, to be told you are part of a group, and that
is
your
life.
Compliance
that
will
group is
sustain
life.
that.
Like when I go to school, that ideally for my parents is that I would go to school, not make any friends.
Wow.
Come home, not complain that I didn't make any friends.
Oh.
And then go talk to one of my cousins or whatever. But they lived around me, just like right around me. It was just a group of cousins that lived around me.
Yeah.
But then they moved off, and it was literally just me and my parents. And my parents were 40 when I was born. So,
jeez.
Yeah. So where did you grow up? What city?
Raymond.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right, Raymond.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a big Jehovah's Witness community there, or?
No, they're everywhere. Yeah, there's like 8 million in the world, I believe, which is nothing in the, in religion numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Around the world.
Yeah.
Catholics is like, I don't know, like 400 million or something. I don't know what it is.
Right.
But it's crazy.
Is there like a church building that you go to, or?
Yeah, they always have no windows because they claim that people break them out, which I believe they probably would,
Wow.
But it would be ex-witnesses that would break them out, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think it would be ex-witnesses 99% of the time.
You think you would have been one of those?
No. I don't have any ill will towards them because they're just blind to it, man. They are indoctrinated to the fullest. My whole family included. They're not listening this far. I guarantee you, they turned it off.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
So both your parents are still alive, or they
No,
passed away?
They dead. They're dead. My mom, my dad died in 2013, and my mom died in 2014.
All right.
Yeah.
My mom just straight up died of a broken heart. It was crazy. She just deteriorated like crazy.
So,
yeah.
Are you allowed to drink in Jehovah's Witness, or was that something that they were doing?
Yeah, but you're not supposed to drink to get drunk. So you drink a couple, you're not even really supposed to get a buzz. Like you're not supposed to drink to feel it.
Right.
I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know. This is just literally what they say, though. Like that kind of shit. Just confusing as fuck.
Yeah. It sounds like it. So you're allowed to drink. It's
drink,
fine.
But don't drink, really.
Right. Because when I think of like religious extremism, I normally think like alcohol, drugs, those type of things are like completely banned.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that your parents.
Everything else is
alcoholic.
completely banned. Like everything. Okay. From cigarettes on. Like, and I'm talking about everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think they could probably have Red Bull. I don't know. They're not like Mormon. Like Mormons are like, no caffeine and shit. But I think they changed that.
Really?
Yeah, I think Coca-Cola probably had something to do with it.
Lobbying for the Mormons. Oh, God.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I know. That's wild. I mean, I grew up in Mississippi, so of course I'm like familiar with evangelical Christians and that kind of thing.
We're heavy with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can think of a time when I was 8 or 9 and I woke up in the summer and no one was home and it was just me, and I think my parents had an issue with communication where they didn't realize that I got left at home. Like, my mom left to go to a doctor's appointment. My dad left and took my sister to work with him. And somehow that got missed. But I thought the rapture had come for me. I really did. And I was calling everybody's phones, cell phones, and no one was answering. And that was, before smartwatches. And it was just like a little brick phone, Nokia.
Yeah.
And I was calling from the landline with the curly-Q tail, trying to frantically hope that somebody would answer and tell me that I'm not the only person left on Earth. But it is terrifying. It's terrifying, and I can't imagine it being even ramped up even more than just, like, being exposed to the Left Behind movies.
Yeah, the isolation was probably that's literally the worst part of prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't do anything worse than stick you in a hole by yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's probably the worst part,
Yeah.
Definitely. And I couldn't do sports or anything like that. The coaches, like I said, I was 6 foot tall and 280 pounds.
Yeah. You didn't play football or anything?
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't.
Oh, okay.
I was forbid.
Oh, because of the Jehovah's Witness,
Wow.
you can't play sports or anything anything that makes you shine is a
Right.
no-go.
No.
Wow.
And all like the team aspect of playing sport is good. The competition of you playing against another team is not good.
Wow.
Because of the rival feelings or whatever feelings might come up about playing a fucking sport. I don't know.
Wow.
I never got into sports
Yeah,
because of this shit.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder
I
how
like
your life would
UFC.
be.
I like
Yeah.
UFC
Yeah?
a lot. Yeah. But
I wonder how your life would have been different if you had been able to just like play football. I don't know.
yeah, no
'Cause-
shit.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
a lot
wonder
of-
that myself.
A lot of kids stay in school because of sports.
Uh-huh.
So it makes
Just
me
the
wonder.
camaraderie of it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like my parents wanted none of that. Absolutely none of that. They
Uh-huh.
wanted me to hang out with dudes in suits and knocking on your door.
Yeah, don't come to my door. I'll send my English bulldog out on you, and he'll tackle you down with love.
I know. And it never works. Like there's people that go their entire life knocking on doors every weekend and never convinced one other person to do that.
Wow.
It happens like I think more than not. Like,
Yeah, I would
more,
imagine.
More
I mean,
people
nobody wants somebody to come up to
more
their door.
people fail at door-to-door ministry than succeed at. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've had
Like
someone.
I don't know anybody that is successfully,
Converted someone?
yeah.
Is that what it's called? Would that be?
Flipped.
Flipped them?
That's what I was gonna say. Converted, that's probably more accurate.
And the crazy thing for me is like I assume that Jehovah's Witness, they're pretty convinced that they're right? And their
Yes.
way is
Oh yeah,
right. So, I mean, and that's the way it is with all religions. Like
Yeah.
everybody is convinced that they're right and that
So
everybody else is wrong.
convinced.
I mean, how many religions how many people are there that think that they're right? You know what I mean? I mean, we're in the Bible Belt, and if you were born here, chances are you're going to be surrounded by Christians or Jehovah's Witness. If you're in, an Islamic state, you're going to be brought up as Islam, and that's going to be what you believe. Like,
Yeah.
it's very difficult for me. That's one of the reasons that I'm just, I believe in God. I'm all about my personal relationship with God, but organized religion of any kind just has man all over it, and
Yeah.
man is
for sure.
messed up, and I don't know.
I think all the parts that scare the fuck out of you in the Bible are, put there by the government.
I mean, who knows,
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the ancient government
Yeah.
from 2,000 years ago.
I mean, they literally sat down together,
Yeah.
all just hanging out, picked the books of the Bible that went in there. So, I mean, there's got to be some kind of
I think every part,
agenda.
every single part that is not God is love and like that, those parts, those make sense. And then when you start talking about persecuting somebody, like, burning somebody in hell for eternity for something they did in 70 years,
Right.
doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
No.
Doesn't make any sense.
that-
And so that is most religions believe in hell of some sort.
right.
And so they're out. And the Jehovah's Witnesses believe in all kinds of craziness, so they're out. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not with organized religion.
I mean, if it works for you, great. Like,
No, yeah, exactly.
And
I told my cousin the other day because he's like an elder, and which is a big deal.
in Jehovah's,
Yeah. And I was like, man, that's great. Don't try to tell me about it.
yeah,
yeah.
I do not want to hear about it. And just a couple months ago, like it's been a thing my whole life and way before. I think it started in the 60s when hippies started wearing beards and stuff.
Yeah.
So beards were outlawed because that was like a rebellious thing.
Oh.
And so like a couple months ago, just a few months ago, people,
Uh-huh.
beards were allowed again
really.
in the
Wow.
Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah. Big shit.
How long
It's
have
big
you had a
news.
beard?
It's big news. No, Oh, this beard's only like a week old.
I mean, but have you kept one since you got out? Was that part of the rebellion?
Yes, I definitely had a beard when I was younger. Yeah, I grew
Yeah.
one first when I was like 14. So yeah, just a little shitty beard. You know, it was patchy.
That's how they are when you're 14.
You're right.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
don't
yeah.
come in all at once usually.
Yeah. So
Crazy, man.
So tell me about what inspired you to get into stand-up comedy.
Oh man, that's all I do is watch stand-up comedy. It's crazy.
Who's your favorite?
I really like Tom Segura
Yep.
and Joe Rogan. I like Joe Rogan as a person, you know, so much. You know, I like his stand-up. His stand-up's great, but I like him as a dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
He's curious.
He's like the best hours of podcast you can live. I really love it. You know, it's great. But there's so many. Brian Callen's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. You like Lucy K?
I like all. Yes, he's the GOAT. Him and Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle.
100%.
Dave Chappelle's awesome, but you know, Norm was my absolute
McDonald?
number one favorite. Yeah, Norm Macdonald. Yeah, number one favorite of all time. Yeah.
Yeah, Norm had balls.
Yeah. Big balls.
Balls.
I like all the stories where he was like, if he killed, he would just go back to the green room and be satisfied, you know, smoke or whatever.
Yeah.
He didn't drink or smoke.
Yeah.
But anyways, but if he bombed, he would go to the door and shake everybody's hand as they left.
Really? I didn't know that.
If they were booing and not having a good time, he would go out to the front and make a point of just standing out there. Which is hilarious.
Yeah,
That's
big
incredible.
balls.
Yeah, he's got massive balls. Dude. Or had.
We're like,
massive balls.
I saw you booing me. Oh,
Yeah.
have a good night.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So when did this start in your life? Were you like watching stand-up secretly in your room?
When I was a little kid, I was watching Gallagher and all the clean comedians that were back then.
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld. Like, we would all watch Jerry Seinfeld. My dad loved that shit.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there weren't huge restrictions on the media intake?
Yeah, could you like watch TV and do y'all have internet and stuff like
that? I had a TV
that?
in my room to keep me out of their hair.
Yeah.
Sure. I had a TV in my room so I could sneak and watch The Simpsons and shit because they didn't want me watching that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Simpsons.
Of course, yeah.
Simpsons.
Devil
The
program.
Well,
Do they believe in the devil?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
That's
They
interesting.
have strange beliefs on the devil, on when he came to power and all this stuff. Like, it's really wild, and it's tied to all the dates that they predicted that the world was going to end. And it's just over and over craziness, you know.
Right. Is
When you look
Jehovah-
through it, you're just like, obviously this is total bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, they predicted the end of the world 5 times.
How do they keep going? Do members like pour money into the church?
They don't do it anymore. They learned their lesson in 1975.
Oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah, they don't do it anymore.
That's crazy. It's interesting to me that you have all these restrictions. I think as a naturally curious person, though, it would push you away.
Yeah, they don't want to hear your questions. Like, they just pray about it. I don't know, have faith. Or these are all like just generic bullshit answers that all religions give you, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think what is it, Buddhism? I think that's the best one.
Yeah, there's a lot
think that's the best
of good things in Buddhism.
I think it's the best one.
Yeah. Well,
And there's like 18 years or some shit that was missing of Jesus' life. And there's supposedly record. This is not official, people. Don't quote me on this shit. But there's supposedly record of Jesus going to India and meeting the Buddha. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were alive at the same time.
it's
It's wild.
And so he brought back some of the best teachings from that and they, killed him for it or whatever.
Yeah.
Anybody that's got a really good message, they usually we don't need this guy.
Yeah.
That's usually what happens.
Is Jehovah's Witness the sect where you can't celebrate birthdays and holidays?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the birthdays thing is weird because there's like 2 birthdays mentioned in the Bible, and both times somebody was beheaded.
Oh my God.
Both times. One was I can't remember what one was the princess or whatever asked the king, said you can have whatever you want, and she was like, I want John the Baptist's head on a platter.
What?
And he was like, I don't really want to do that, but I just told you could have anything you want in front of all these people, and I'm the king, so whatever. He was done. And then another time, somebody else got beheaded on his birthday. And so that's why we don't do that. I can't remember that other story.
Jeez.
I've never heard these stories.
This is news to me.
Is the text for Jehovah's Witness, is it different than like the Holy Bible? Because these are news stories to me.
You're talking to somebody that's only read that one,
Wow.
Yeah. But I do know that it's a little different in some places, but they don't just alter it like that. Like there's definitely that story in your Bible, yeah, for sure.
It is.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Scripture.
I have to find my
I don't know what scripture.
Bible.
I guess you would
dust it off.
Look up what scripture is John the Baptist beheaded. Yeah, it'll be in that one.
I will find it because I need to know about this. I remember
It's pretty significant.
the stake being run through somebody's head. I remember that.
Right.
But I do not remember John the Baptist being beheaded. You would think that would be something.
Yeah, that'd stick out.
People
Yeah.
would,
I don't remember
would
that
know
either.
and remember.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
And all these people who claim to have read like the front to the back of the Bible, you would think they would be like, listen,
Yeah.
I need you to know what happened.
There's
It's
this
not
thing.
all 100% good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
some people get beheaded.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad of bad horrifying things in the Bible, so
Yep, for sure. Scary shit.
yeah, I don't want to be beheaded at all. That's on the bottom of the list of things that I want.
100%.
So what are your goals moving forward, thinking about stand-up comedy, thinking about podcasting?
I'm trying to move to South Carolina, which is a brand new thing to me. Like, I can't believe I'm moving at this late a time in my life.
What's there?
My wife's parents and her sister and all her family and everything. Her parents live in North Carolina, right at the bottom, apparently. And then we live at the top of South Carolina, but it's not very far. And it's beautiful up there, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would
I've
you
never lived anywhere but this flat-ass piece of muddy land.
Would you be doing pools there, or what would you be doing up there?
Yeah. If I'm breathing, I'm doing some pools probably until I make it as a stand-up. You know, it's going to be 10 years probably. That's what I keep hearing.
I mean, it can be.
At least
It can happen quickly, but
to get good,
most people you get, if I'm not mistaken.
I've definitely got to keep doing open mics. The last one I did was horrendous, dude. It was horrendous.
Yeah, but those are important.
Yeah, bombing is part of it.
I learned more from that one, than the other times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did relatively well. Well, oh my God, I was killed in comparison to at Howlin' Mal's for y'all.
Yeah.
Oh my God, y'all are such a good crowd. Good God, y'all laugh at everything.
We're excited. We're
If you
excited
have
to be
tried,
there.
you're in there, and it feels so good. But whenever you try to go to a redneck bar and do this where comedy has never been done,
Yeah,
that could be rough.
oh my God, dude. There was a dude singing, and he was doing good. People were like, jamming along, playing pool, drinking. And then all of a sudden he stops, and he's like, this dude wants to do some comedy. He just hands me the
God,
mic.
what?
And I was like, okay. And I get up there and introduce myself, and it was just terrible, bro. It was terrible.
Yeah, but you gotta have those. You gotta have those.
It was
Yeah.
full of cowboys and roughnecks, but they were all like, barely in their 20s.
Yeah,
So they had that
that's a lot.
frat boy,
Yeah,
cowboy attitude.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was in between of both.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a very strange combo.
A weird amalgamation of
Yeah.
frat cowboy.
Yeah. And, man, they were playing pool, like, within arm's reach of me.
Oh, geez.
Like, it was crazy.
Were they like hitting you with the pool stick,
No,
pool cue?
almost. It was like almost that bad.
Oh, sorry, man. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it's nuts. And, yeah, I was like, as I was telling the joke, they were like hooping and hollering about pool shots.
Oh, jeez.
Mhm.
And one thing that good pool players never do is go, woohoo, did you see that shot? Not one good pool player has ever done that.
Yeah.
They're
Act like
always
you've been there,
real
player. Act
cool.
like you've been there.
Yeah. Normally pool players are very, very calm, very
But I know
even
what they were
keel.
doing. They were trying to drown me out. I was bombing. I was totally bombing. But I did 3 minutes, and I was like, that is quite enough. I'm out.
Yeah, when you're bombing, 3 minutes feels like
Oh,
an
fuck.
eternity.
Yeah, it's terrible,
But
bro. And
it is.
I had a couple jokes about Jesus, like a Jehovah's Witness thing,
Yeah.
And I mentioned Jesus, and there was a couple 4-year-olds, because this is a restaurant, too, while all these people are getting turned up in there and singing crazy songs. Like, they got their 4-year-olds in here. So, anyways, it was wild. As soon as I mentioned Jesus, I heard the 4-year-old go, yay! Like, I've heard of him. I like him. I was like,
Right.
oh, shit.
Did that little 4-year-old tip you? Did he give you a tip?
I got the fuck out of there real fast. As soon as I got off stage, I was like, well, that's enough of this. Paid my bill, I'm out.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
3 minutes, like, that's like,
I was,
most people can't do that. Most people will never have the balls to even attempt.
the guy singing said the same thing. He was like, man, he was like, I don't even know how you got up there in the first place to even try.
Yeah.
He was like, I can't. He's like, you got some balls to get up there.
Yeah, you
And
got to have
He was
balls.
like, keep doing it. And it was like, everybody tells you the same thing. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Especially when you bomb, unless you're really bad. Then you don't say nothing.
It's the people that bomb and don't know it, that those are the ones that get you, because you're like, that was terrible and horribly offensive, and they're like, I did a great job.
Yeah.
Because all they can think about is, I wrote these jokes and so they're perfect, or whatever's going on in their brain. I don't have that mindset, but I also know that if I'm bombing, then that means there's something I need to do or change in my jokes, especially if I've used these jokes and they've hit before.
Yeah,
Something's
yeah.
different.
It
And-
could just be your attitude that night. Or
Yeah.
The delivery. It's always the delivery.
Yeah. And
Delivery is so important.
recording your sets and going back and watching them is huge. I know that you said it was awful and you didn't want to watch it back, but
It's
you
terrible.
did go back and watch it back, and were able to see what you
Yes.
did and said and shared it with me, and I think that's huge, especially if you are like, this felt awful, this felt like I was bombing. Those are the times where it's really important to dig in and think, okay, was it the
What was
crowd?
it?
Was
Yeah.
it me? Was it my
Right.
attitude? Was it the environment? Because the environment in that situation
was
is very
bad.
different.
It was bad.
Than
It was
people who are sitting down
loud,
to
and they
watch.
didn't give a damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways, not doing it there again, unless we go out on the patio or something. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Where
yeah.
just a few people could come out, maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be so much better than a bunch of loud people.
That's a good idea. You
know.
said this place is it owned by?
It's
Uh,
my cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, her ex-husband and her own it, and
Okay.
they own like a bunch of cattle stuff down there. It's called Cattle Drive.
Okay. Is she Jehovah's Witness?
No,
Okay.
no,
Different part of the family.
but she definitely has family that is. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
I just wondered how owning a restaurant like that and
Yeah.
selling beer and playing pool. I feel like all those things would be outlawed.
Well, I'm sure they look down on it. They don't. There's not much they don't look down on.
Yeah. Yeah, us doing stand-up comedy, hanging out, having drinks on Wednesday nights would be horrible, I'm sure.
My sisters try to be cool about it, try to be, cordial or whatever, but in their mind, one day the world's going to end, and I'm definitely not going to be where they're at. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
That's just what they believe. And it's like to the core, I don't think there's any turning them around. Like I'm 41 and my closest sister is 11 years older than me.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, they're lifelong, they're dug in.
Wow.
Ride or die.
Yeah. Yep. And it's crazy. The amount of giving up you have to do on any kind of happiness in this world, like you just give up on it. Like, and you convince yourself that doing nothing and just this crazy boredom at doing nothing and interacting with hardly any people is okay. It's and you're like, this life won't last that much longer. And then I get to the good life. You know what I'm saying? When I get brought back, I get to the good life. This life means very little.
Wow.
That's how they view it.
But what if
It's insane.
What if they're wrong and there's literally nothing after?
I know.
Then you've lived your whole life.
I know.
And have had no joy.
I know. It's sad as fuck.
Ugh.
It's so sad. Jesus, it's so sad.
There's just I think that we have to be able to harness and take as much joy as we can from the world, but especially as someone who's mentally ill, depressed, anxious, like it is so important that I'm spending my time chasing after things that are joyful, things that make me happy, because what am I going to do with the rest of my life if I'm not chasing after things that are going to bring me joy? I mean,
yeah, and they would answer, go out in service, go knock on people's door and try to get them to join the Jehovah's Witness, and that's their only goal.
And that's supposed to be joyful?
I guess, yeah. They get McDonald's breaks and stuff.
Ooh, McDonald's. I feel like McDonald's should definitely be on the no-go list.
Yeah, no doubt.
McDonald's, I mean,
It's pretty crazy, man.
McDonald's feels inherently sinful, and I can't explain it. I don't have any explanation, but it does.
If anybody ever wants to watch the creepiest cartoons in the world, go to jw.org, and they created some cartoons for you.
Oh, no.
They're so creepy.
It sounds like a bit,
sad, though. And they're so sad, dude. Oh, my God. They're like these little kids, and they go to school, and some little girl is like, hey, I want to be friends. Let's be friends. And this little girl, this is the Jehovah's Witness girl, says, I can't be your friend. You're not a Jehovah's Witness. And like, just totally denies friendship from like my son's age, 5.
That is crazy.
It is absolutely insane.
I mean, as someone who's seeking community in most places, seeking community and doing stand-up, seeking community and doing support groups and family and friends, I feel like that's what we're driven to do. That's what most people, what we want and need in life is community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cutting that off feels wild.
And they have a couple things that I did like, but it does isolate you whenever you're in school doing it, for sure. It's the idea of not doing the saluting the flag and like pledge allegiance. That is a creepy thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's creepy.
Yeah.
It's creepy. Like, because you have no say in where you're born, And the people in
Right.
other countries are not any worse people. You know what I'm saying? They're just in other countries.
Yeah. Yeah.
They speak another language.
Right.
There is a language barrier. That's why you think they're bad or whatever. You don't understand them. you know?
Right.
And I just came to realize all this shit, like, in the last few months.
Crazy.
Yeah. I'm sure it was all percolating
Yeah.
when you were a kid, and that's, driving.
Yeah,
you
there was
getting
always
out.
questions and stuff, but they don't want to hear it. They're just like, oh yeah, well, ask the brothers or something, or ask the elders. I don't know, whatever. Look it up in some book.
Mm.
Well, we're at the hour. What do you want to leave people with today?
Man, this was very
Time
fun.
flies.
I loved it. I
Mm-hmm.
loved it. But yeah, just go to therapy if you've never tried it.
Yeah.
If you've never tried it, try it one time. And BetterHelp they're not covered under my insurance, so I had to do something else. But
Yeah.
but
lot of
BetterHelp
places they are.
sounds like a good idea for sure.
BetterHelp,
Yeah.
Talkspace. A lot of people have that in their insurance and don't even know about it. So
Right.
that's something to check into.
Yeah.
Therapy is it's very helpful, but if you've got trauma, if you got a bunch of shit, abusive alcoholic bullshit in your past, it's gonna suck a little
Yeah.
bit to go through that and to remember it all. And but it's better when you come out the other side.
Absolutely.
It absolutely is. Yeah.
You just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Thank y'all, man.
Of
Thank
course,
y'all.
man.
Yeah,
Thank you
this
for
is
coming.
great.
This is great. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll have to get you to come back on, hopefully, before you move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Lana Banana, fantastic job tonight. And
thank you.
we will see everybody next week. Is Morgan going to be here next week?
We're going to be here
Who's
next
our
week.
guest next week? Do we
Christina
know?
Span.
Oh, that's right. That's right. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Thank y'all.